Hi, in this video, we're going to learn how to add and subtract numbers if they're written in scientific notation. So, in order to do this, you must first make sure that the exponents on the tens match. So, if you have a times 10 to the x and you're adding b times 10 to the x, what you can really do is add the a and b together and then multiply by 10 to the x. If you have a number that's greater than 10 in front at that point, you'll then write that in scientific notation and simplify. So let's use this formula to add 3.7 times 10 to the 7th and 4.1 times 10 to the 7th. First of all, notice that they're both times 10 to the 7th, which is why you can do this at all. Then we're going to find the a, which is the number at the front of the first set of parentheses. So we can put 3.7 first. Then we're going to do plus our b, which we can see in this case is 4.1. Then we're going to have times 10 raised to our exponent. Now, in this case, you can see that our exponent for both of our numbers is 7. So we carry that over. Once we do that, we are able to simplify this by adding 3.7 and 4.1 to give us 7.8 times 10 to the 7th. Let's try another one. What if I gave you 4.8 times 10 to the 3rd plus 9.8 times 10 to the 4th? Well, if you look at this, you'll notice that they do not have the same exponents. One is a 3, one is a 4. What I've discovered is it's so much easier to rewrite them in the same exponent when you pick the larger exponent. So in this case, we're going to rewrite our first number with times 10 to the 4 instead of times 10 to the 3. In order to increase an exponent, you move your decimal place once to the left. So 4.8 times 10 to the 3rd becomes 0.48 times 10 to the 4th. Now that I have that set up, I'm going to be able to add using the traditional equation. I have my a is 0.48, and then I'm going to do plus my b value, which is 9.8. And that's going to be times 10 to the 4th, because that's the exponent that we have everywhere else in the problem. After that, I'm able to straight up simplify. 0.48 plus 9.8 is 10.28, and then I carry down my 10 to the 4th. Now, those were some addition problems that work out really well. But at the end of them, you always have to check to make sure it's in scientific notation. So 10.28 is bigger than 10. We have to move the decimal over once to the left. In order to do that, we increase the exponent by 1. 1.028 times 10 to the 5th is our final answer for the addition problem. Now, if we want to subtract, we're actually going to do the same thing. But instead of adding a and b, we'll subtract a and b. Everything else is still exactly the same. So let's say I want to subtract 2.55 times 10 to the 6th and 1.6 times 10 to the 6th. So to do that, I'm going to first do my a, which we can see is 2.55, minus my b, which we can see is 1.6. And then we're going to multiply times 10 raised to the 6th power. And that's because the exponent on both of my previous numbers was 6. When I subtract 2.55 and 1.6, I get 0.95 times 10 to the 6th. But notice that that is not technically in scientific notation because 0.95 doesn't have a number in the ones place. So I need to move the decimal once to the right, which decreases my exponent. So this becomes 9.5 times 10 to the 5. And that's how you add and subtract in scientific notation.